Well, anyway, so Kristin Cavallari, we talked about, let's see, Shannon Doherty and Kristin Cavallari, and you chose Kristin Cavallari, which is probably a good choice. Although I want to say that Shannon is her third partner on Charmed is claiming that Alyssa Milano said it's either Shannon or me, and they fired Shannon Doherty. So she's spilling some tea on that show. But Kristin, I don't know. I never liked her on Laguna Beach. I just thought she was such a cunt. And it was so ironic that the show is about narcissism. Her guest is talking about narcissism because Kristin seems like, to me, a perfect case study in narcissism. But they didn't go there, did they?
I was thinking the same thing, Drew, and I have some examples of her wanting to make the conversation about herself, which I thought was a little ironic on a show about narcissism. Well, she has this guest on, Dr. Sherry Campbell. And you'll love the way they met because they love the way they met. This is my first track on here, number one.
Love how we met.
Me too.
And thanks, Alex Cooper. I know. A shout out.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You know, you work with all different types of trauma, but when I discovered you, it was on Call Her Daddy, and you were talking about surviving a narcissistic parent, and everything you said really resonated with me. My dad is a narcissist, and so hearing your story really made me feel seen. And so
it's genetic.
She made it about herself.
Did you hear the end of that? Play the very end of that where she explains why it was so important that she was talking about that on Call Her Daddy.
Hearing your story really made me feel seen. And so
like a narcissist would feel.
Hearing her story made her feel seen. Is this how the kids are talking now? Brandon, is this how the kids are talking?
She's not a kid, though.
Oh, man.
So stupid. So she goes on to say after that, since she started her podcast, she's been looking forward to this conversation more than anything else. And I always love that because it kind of puts down all the other guests she's had.
Yeah.
She's like, this is the one I was actually looking forward to. Like, oh, well, that's weird.
Yeah, and she has some decent names on her podcast. But
Travis Kelce.
Oh, yeah. That's Travis Kelce was on her show?
Yes.
Travis Kelce doesn't say no, Drew. Travis Kelce's on every show.
500,000 views on YouTube.
Wow. Oh, God.
And I was checking that one out. I thought that'd be interesting, but it was before he started pretending to fuck Taylor Swift.
Okay.
So it's not interesting.
Well, anyway, let's get back to Kristin's journey towards figuring out her father was a narcissist, because I love that she used the word journey.
Everyone's on a journey, aren't they?
Yes.
Now, I have two clips in a row here, and what we're going to do is define what a narcissist is. So my track number 2, I'm going to play this on WATP tomorrow because it describes Stuttering John to a T. Unbelievable.
They're never wrong.
Nope.
They're always the victim. They tend to be pathological liars and manipulators, and that will be on a scale.
Yep.
Right? And they're disturbingly immature, psychologically, and selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nailed it. all the way. Now, I want you guys to pick up on something because this was bugging me, Drew. I'm sure it bugged you too. This is the not in agreement show.
Yeah.
Not once will Kristin respond with, wait, what do you mean by that? Or can you elaborate on that thought? It's just, yep, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Crazy shit. That's so stupid.
It was driving me nuts.
She's probably not listening to half the things she's saying, right?
I hope not.
Yeah.
That would be a good excuse. All right, so my third track on here is more talking about narcissists, and again, Stuttering John all the way.
Really, when you boil it down, they're actually some of the most insecure people on the planet.
They are the most insecure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get this question a lot. Do they even care? Yes. About themselves.
Right.
So they don't care how they affect you, but they care greatly about your reaction to their abuse of you.
Yes.
And so when you're not allowed to have a reaction that counters them,
right,
they have to win.
Yes.
I wish you didn't point that out. That's all I see in your nose.
I was thinking there was going to be a super cut because the agreement is quite intense. Everything.
What do you say that, Drew? I put together a supercut for us.
Okay.
But you know what? It's not the word yeah. It's another word that she uses quite a bit to describe how she reacts to things that she's learning from Dr. Campbell. This is track 0.
Wow. 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 Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, wow. 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 Oh, wow. 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 And wow.
And wow. I'm shocked that wow has that many different inflections in
Wow.
it.
It's fantastic.
If you're trying to count at home, it's 36 is the answer. That's the number of wows.
Wow. And how long was the episode?
Well, without the commercials, about 40 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, almost wow a minute. Wow.
Okay.
How about that?
So now Dr.
Wow.
Campbell's talking about working on the relationship with her family and her parents. And she brings up the fact that it's a waste of her time. And you can't have a show about narcissists and mental health without the term boundaries.
Oh, okay.
This is a big thing that everyone's talking about these days.
What am I trying for?
Yeah. Exactly.
To go get my ass kicked and my self-esteem lowered again, and now my dignity's in that ring and my self-respect is in that ring and I have no boundaries.
Right.
And I think boundaries are totally misunderstood in our culture.
Oh, I agree. I completely agree.
What do you
I
mean?
actually didn't even realize that my dad was a narcissist until I was an adult.
So she decided to just segue right into talking about her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think boundaries are misunderstood. Oh yeah, no, I totally. Anyway, so when I found out my dad's an asshole,
But that's a prime example of what you were just talking about. Of like, can you explain what the fuck you're talking about boundaries being misunderstood?
correct. And
Oh my
she just
God.
goes, "Yep, you got it, nailed it. I get it, I get you."
That's because she doesn't know what it means.
I don't know about you, but I thought the show was a little too much about Dr. Campbell and her parents. It's like, I don't need to know all this stuff about Dr. Campbell's horrible parents. I thought this was about how to identify a narcissist.
I was a little surprised by that too. Dr. Campbell seemed to be. I was expecting Kristin to make this the Kristin show,
Yeah.
but Dr. Campbell wanted to make it the Dr. Campbell show.
Yeah, it seemed like Kristin and Dr. Campbell were kind of tug of warring about whose parents it was about the most, and Dr. Campbell won. But they both fought hard.
No, for sure. I definitely agree with that. Now, the other thing that I have to play for you, and then we'll get back into this tug of war, is the ad copy on this show. And I know this is a cheap shot, and Kristin didn't write this, but this just seems like dishonest. My fifth track here.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I want to tell you about this underwear that I am absolutely obsessed with, and I just can't keep it to myself. It's so good. It's the Fits Everybody collection by Skims, and I feel like it's their best kept secret.
No, first off, is she telling us because she's obsessed that she can't keep it to herself? I doubt it.
No, she's being paid.
But also, a well-kept secret, it's on their homepage. I went to this company's homepage, and they talk about this. It's not a secret.
Carl, I know about Skims.
Everybody
I have
knows
no
about
interest in
Skims.
Skims.
Yeah.
I'm forced to hear about Skims all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not
Also,
the target audience.
Drew, you watched this show, right?
I listened to it. I didn't watch it. I should have.
Okay. So you'll notice there when we were watching that, they had the product shot up there, and then there's a photo of her in a dress where you can see all of her cleavage and everything like that.
Yeah.
But it's, this. Every single ad read, it just swaps out what the advertiser is on the right-hand side.
And
But
she's
if
the
you
same.
have a photo of her, it's like, if you don't like advertising, do you like boobs? Yeah,
I was gonna say,
all right,
Barrett,
I'll watch this.
She's
That's fine.
clearly not wearing Skims in that photo of her. I
No.
mean, wouldn't you be wearing it if you love it that much? And
So,
it's an ad.
Mark, I thought they were Skims at first because that was the first ad.
No.
But then she's wearing that same outfit for every ad. So I was like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Did you catch the ad, Carl, where she opens up with, have you ever left a party because you're so bloated?
True. I almost pulled that one up. Like, there's too much advertising. I can't just talk about it. She goes, this is a weird segue. But you ever leave a party because you're so bloated? Like, yeah, that is a weird segue.
no one is.
You were so bloated you had to wear sweatpants. Huh? So if you're in sweatpants, I wouldn't think you'd be worried about how bloated you were anyway. But
Drew, do you ever leave a content house because you're so bloated?
and it was about probiotics? Is that what the ad was?
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll keep you from leaving parties because you're too bloated. Probiotics, apparently.
I guess. I guess. You know, I wonder if we asked Senator John that question, what his answer would be. You ever leave a party because you're feeling bloated? Actually, yes.
That's funny. You know, I went right to Stuttering John too when she described narcissist. I didn't know you would. I kind of thought you would, but right there, it's the first guy I thought of.
Oh, it described into a T. And
Yeah.
we've been talking about this for a while because the funny thing about, and I don't know if you guys know narcissists in your lives, but it's weird behavior and I'm not used to it. So learning about John has been a journey, I would say, for me, as I'm trying to figure out why would anyone act like this, and then you find out it's a personality disorder. Oh, okay.
Well, it's funny, just like Kristin and Dr. Campbell, John calls people narcissists all the time.
Yes, isn't that interesting?
So that must be a narcissistic trait too, possibly.
I think so. All right, let's find out about dating narcissists. And my sixth track on here, you guys have to explain what this means.
I had to lose myself to find myself when it came to love.
Oh, that hits me so hard.
Yeah.
That's what I've been working on the last few years.
Yeah.
It's nothing truer has ever been said.
You really got to open up. You got to be vulnerable.
You gotta take down those boundaries.
You have to
What that means?
lose yourself to find yourself. No, I have no idea what they're
Let the
talking
walls
about.
down, right?
Can somebody quiz her on that? She has no idea what that doctor just said.
Well, she said nothing true has ever been said.
Nothing true has ever been said. What do you mean?
Yeah,
What part
exactly.
that you
She
don't
doesn't know what
understand?
she's talking about. Oh my God, look at that look on her stupid face. Like an agreement. Get out of here.
Jesus.
I want to play that one again just because I love it that much.
I had to lose myself to find myself when it came to love.
Oh, that hits me so hard.
Yeah.
That's what I've been working on the last few years.
Yeah.
It's nothing truer has ever been said.
She's rolling her eyes while she's saying that because she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking
I
about.
guess I need to lose myself to find myself. I didn't even know it.
Oh my.
I have no idea
Gotta
what
work
that
on
means.
that.
And you guys were guessing, but it doesn't even make sense. Yeah, I was like, oh, whatever.
Eyes. That's funny.
All right. Track number 7. I'm not even going to set this up. This is so bizarre to me.
All right.
People ask me a lot how
Yeah.
you spot a narcissist. And I think for people who are dating,
Yeah.
you know, they want to be able to have,
Yeah.
you know, some concrete
Yeah.
things that they can say, okay, this is what I need to look out for before it's too late, before you're in a relationship. And, you know, they're the biggest con artists on the planet. So it can be really challenging at first to spot them. Do you have any
I
tips
have
for that?
incredible advice for that.
Okay.
The first 18 months of being in love, you cannot tell the difference between a brain high on cocaine, okay, or newly in love.
Bullshit.
People on cocaine would talk a lot more, wouldn't they? And sleep a
I
lot
love
less.
Chris's reaction. It's like, yep, we all know that.
Yeah, Cavalier's done a ton of blow apparently.
Well, the first part of that, she goes, people ask me all the time how to spot a narcissist. Is this the question people are going to Kristin with?
And why is she dating so many people that are probably narcissists? Wouldn't that be kind of weird?
Right. Well, if she is doing that, then I wouldn't ask her that question because she's bad at it. But also, I don't know that that's the thing that people are asking Kristin about. So she comes on, the doctor, Dr. Campbell says, oh, I totally have great advice for you on how to make sure that you do not date a narcissist. And I have to tell you guys, my track number 8 here, I think this is the weirdest advice I've ever heard from a doctor.
Before I went out with my boyfriend, I had already stalked him.
Smart.
I wanted to. I want to know who I'm going out with.
Yep.
That's a little crazy.
I stalked him. She goes, yep. As you do. Sure. Why not?
But you don't
insane.
find out real things about people online. I mean, you'll find out
not.
some
It's all
surfacey
bullshit.
things. If they've been arrested, you might find it out. But other than that,
Well, you're assuming the word stalk has nothing to do with online. You're
Oh,
assuming
yeah.
cyber stalking. I don't know.
Yeah, she could have been following this dude around.
I'm thinking peeking in windows. Yeah, that's where I go. That's where my head goes.
why would all these people be going to Kristin Cavallari to figure out how someone's a narcissist? By the way,
They're
shouldn't
not.
you go to an expert?
They're not.
It's so bizarre to me. And I love that they met because of Call Her Daddy, a show that started off talking about taking money shots.
Yeah.
Now it's solving the world's problems, apparently. All right.
I got to hand it to Alex Cooper. She's evolved nicely.
She's killing it. I was checking in on Sophia Franklin, and she is not having doctors on to talk about narcissism. That's for sure.
Yeah, Sophia, I've noticed she's drifted down off the charts almost, while Alex Cooper has stayed up there.
Yeah, no. Sophia definitely has an audience. She's doing well on YouTube. I think she's primarily a YouTube show because she is eye candy.
Yeah.
So I'll give her that. Where, the problem with Spotify is I use Spotify. I subscribe to Spotify. I don't use it for podcasts. So when these shows go Spotify exclusive, they're pretty much off my radar.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a strange thing to pay people a lot of money for, to take audience away from them.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's definitely something lost there.
Yeah, but it worked with Rogan, right?
Sure.
Yeah, well, his audience is extremely loyal.
Sure.
But what about Dax Shepard? I mean, who talks about Dax Shepard anymore?
No one, because that's a bad show.
Yeah, it sucks.
True. Somebody.
It is. I don't know. I mean, Trudy
in
talks about it.
my 9th track here, this is another one where I wrote down, what am I missing here? Why am I not following this conversation? And Kristin seems to totally understand what's going on.
But there are narcissists that are some of the best, most creative people out there that have words,
Oh gosh.
songs,
Yep.
and they may not live that life in private.
Yeah. What the hell does that mean?
What are you talking about?
Private.
They have words and songs, but they don't live that life in private. And
They don't use
Kristin goes,
words?
Yep.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Has she dated a singer? I mean, do we know of that? Because that's probably what she's thinking of.
I'll check for who's
Probably.
dated who.
She's thinking of an ex she doesn't like.
I don't think I'm going to meet the Beatles through listening to a Beatles album. That's not
No?
going to tell me who they are, or the Rolling Stones, or Pearl Jam, or anyone.
You got to stalk them.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be
Now,
much more interested in an interview with one of the members.
You will find out that John Lennon used to be cruel to his woman, but
That's
you don't know
true.
what's going on now, currently.
And kept her apart from the things that she loved.
Yeah, that was a dick move, I gotta say, John. It looks bad. All right. Now, again, this is where they're talking about stuff, and I guess it makes sense to them because they're both agreeing, but I have no idea. This conversation, this right here, made me dumber. And I apologize that I am dumber today because I listened to this already.
They probably mean those things.
Right.
But when they have you, I hate to say this, but it's like a cannibal.
Yes.
They fall in love with a person, and they want to be so close to that person that they eat them.
Yeah. I've never heard
Okay.
anyone describe it like that. Yeah.
Just because
So-
it's stupid.
At the eating of the human being, now they've lost that person because it didn't make them
Yes.
feel the connection that they were looking for.
Still
So what
hungry.
do? They go find another one.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I have no idea, Carl. I can't help you.
What are they talking about?
I know.
As soon as you said, narcissists are like cannibals, I'd be like, well, hold on a second. Do you know what cannibals do? It's very different.
So is every cannibal a narcissist?
Oh,
Probably.
What about all those people that were on that plane out there?
Oh, in Chile, yeah.
Alive.
Yeah. It's
true.
Yeah, they were all narcissists
team.
while they were eating each other.
maybe we're being too literal right now. Maybe that's our problem.
Yeah.
Well, what
She's
did
talking
she
about
mean?
narcissists use people and then discard them. It's a quicker way of saying I think what she's trying to get to.
It's a little extreme.
You use them for your own means.
Well,
I mean,
my last clip here, number 11, this is where it gets crazy because you heard her say, Dr. Campbell said earlier that narcissists don't care about anyone but themselves. They don't have empathy.
Yeah.
So that's why they're bad in relationships. But then this gets very confusing. I think they're confusing narcissists with energy vampires. I'm pretty sure.
I've said it's like they're trying to like suck our energy and like take our spirit from us.
Yes. They're not interested in like the murder of the body. They are interested in the murder of the spirit.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
emotional rape.
Yep.
And emotional homicide.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what they function. It is their fuel.
Yeah.
Oh my lord, it's all psychobabble bullshit.
And I think a lot of people listen to this. It does fairly well.
Yeah, and the people that listen to it are going, yeah, that sounds right, and then they repeat it.
But Carl, do you remember at the beginning of the show when Kristin says that the show's about being honest and getting real and open? But that didn't feel very real to me.
Well, I don't even know what they're talking about, Drew. None of this sounds real to me.
Can't
This
follow.
came out 8 hours ago. It already has 7,000 views.
Wow.
So yeah, people are checking this out for some reason.
I mean, I thought it'd be something like the real world if they're getting open and real with each other.
Right.
But
Stop being polite. Start getting real.
that's right. True story. Good job.
I didn't realize that narcissists need emotional rape and emotional homicide in order to function. This is all news to me.
This doctor is so dramatic. I mean, she went down to 82 pounds and her mom still wanted to lose weight because she could spin faster on her skates. And oh God, that was just so horrible. Who could?
Speaking of which, Drew, I don't know if you're like me, but at the beginning of the show, she's talking about her and her brother were both great athletes. And she goes, you know, I almost went pro. I didn't. My brother did. I was like, who's your brother?
Exactly.
What sport? What are we talking about? That's cool.
I couldn't believe Kristin didn't say, who is your brother? Because I figured we'd know who he is.
Yeah, well, there was a Campbell who played for the Sabres, defenseman. I mean, there's been a lot of Campbells that have been pros in the league. I want to know.
I thought she was talking about a figure skater, but I don't know. Did she say hockey?
Can you go pro as a figure skater?
Yeah, they
do tours and
make lots of
shows
money,
and-
but no, I was thinking NHL or figure skater, probably a figure skater, but I don't know
NHL's
how.
probably most likely. Right?
I'm not sure how, unless you're a narcissist, you wouldn't stop her there and ask her who that person is.
Right.
Seems like an
That's kind
obvious
of a fun
question.
story, I would
yeah,
say.
Right.
Of course.
Wow.
Not interested, apparently.
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
Is that the last Kristin cut?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get to the other podcast?
So I put together a little Tom Segura package because
excellent.
we've talked about Tom Segura on here. We've talked about the fact that the fans think he's changed, that he gets a lot of backlash for his attitude and his attitude about wealth. So I thought I'd put together a little presentation, but I wanted to start because you guys were talking yesterday about him with Quentin Tarantino.
Yes. He didn't read his book when he came on, which was incredible.
It's incredible to have an A-list celebrity like Quentin on your show and not prepare yourself for it.
One that's an incredibly interesting individual too.
Yes.
And obviously wants to promote the current project. I mean, you have to know that going in.
And I'll just say, Drew, I watch the way you handle celebrity interviews. You always are prepared. You always have the right questions. You know what they want to talk about. You're ready to talk to them about it. And that's why this is so frustrating to see a guy like Tom Segura, who's got all this fame going, and he has Quentin on Two Bears, One Cave. Bert's not there. And Tom does a terrible job of promoting his book, and Quentin calls him out. So
Which you have to love that.
19th video here is what you're going to see is the very beginning of the show where he admits he hasn't read the book and Quentin reacts. And then 90 minutes later at the end of the show when they're wrapping up and Quentin really lets him have it.
Just admit you got fucking burned.
We are so embarrassed for you.
Just apologize. I fucked up.
Well, he
I love
bullshit.
the idea that he listened to it on the way to the studio. You know that's what happened. He's like, oh shit, Quentin's on today. I better listen to
It
this.
sounds like us interviewing Dave Mason without Drew.
Not us. That was Bentley's fault.
Okay.
Well, but asking about something in the first 3 pages too. I mean, if you wrote the book, you know. Oh wait, he's asking about the first 3 pages. Did he just read the first 3 pages?
Yeah.
Oh, ouch. Oh, that's
With
terrible.
audiobook, you can go an hour in and like, oh, I heard the story you were telling. You know, make it seem like you.
You can do that with the
thought that
book
was
too.
compelling.
Yeah,
Well,
you
right.
jump in the middle of it.
You could actually read 60 pages. That would be, enough.
Or you could listen on like 2 times speed, consume more faster.
Oh, it's so weak. And he's so pissed, too, that he's being called out.
Yeah, he was laughing in the beginning, but after Tarantino kept giving it to him, you could tell he's got a little bit salty there.
Oh, yeah.
That's good questions. It's like, that's not the point.
And I'm a fan.
It's not the point.
Oh, you're a fan like millions of other people?
Then don't bullshit your guess that you were reading the book or listening to it.
Hey, I saw Pulp Fiction. Yeah, no, we know. we all saw Pulp Fiction. All right, so let's talk about Tom Segura, because Tom Segura was an everyman. His stand-up was all about everyday situations. I have examples of that. I have examples of him on the podcast in early days and conversations they would have. And we see what he's become now. I'm going to start with the 14th track on here, Mark.
Okay.
And this is something, he's on Two Bears, One Cave with Bert Kreischer. And you can tell that the subreddit and Twitter is getting to him because people are complaining. He's always talking about his cars. He has a car collection. He collects Rolexes.
God.
And people are just like, Tom, what happened to you? And this, you're just talking about your wealth all the time. So Tom fires back against the losers.
Every time we talk about like a watch or a car,
I'll get a bunch of messages from losers that try to tell me that I'm making them feel bad about their situation. You're in control of your own situation and your own feelings. So don't put it on me that you feel bad, that I have something that, but I'm struggling with rent this month. Figure it the fuck out, okay? Like, don't make my life be a problem for your life.
Oh, wow. Oh, Jesus. What an asshole.
In your face,
Not
listeners.
a good way to respond to this.
Oh.
Couldn't you be a little more self-aware when you have 60 cars? It's probably not terribly relatable to talk about your super expensive cars, your different cars, your Rolex collection. That's not relatable. That's bragging.
Yep.
Well, especially because a lot of his fans have been fans for almost 10 years now and have been watching him and his wife, Christina P., starting Your Mom's House, and kind of a grassroots effort to build this thing. And now he's acting like he's been there. And people are like, well, remember, we're the ones supporting you, and we're the reason why you've gotten all this wealth and fame. And he's like, fuck you.
Okay. Well, didn't you make a term for those people? The pores? Isn't that what he calls them?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
He calls them losers. He calls them haters. He calls them pores. So we'll go to 13 here. This is on the Joe Rogan show. And Bert's telling this story about how he went to a Rolex store and he's like, I don't want to spend this kind of money. So then he messaged with Tom about it, and Tom wrote him a note and said, dude, you're working your ass off. You deserve it. Go buy that Rolex. So Bert goes, okay, I'll buy myself a Rolex. And then Bert's explaining that he sent a note back to Tom saying he bought the Rolex. Meanwhile, Tom is also in a Rolex store buying a Rolex at the same
Oh, my God.
I know, this is disgusting.
And I wouldn't do it, but your message meant so much to me. He was like, oh, cool. I go, what are you doing? He goes, well, I sent you that message, and I realized that shit applies to me, too. I'm in a Rolex store. I'm buying a new Rolex. Wow. He bought a new Rolex the next day.
Yeah. Tommy's my favorite guy to call about cars, because Tommy and me have the same love of cars.
So this is what annoys people.
It's just not relatable.
No, and to bring that up without somebody, somebody should have ragged on somebody in that conversation.
Yeah.
Ari tried to. Ari Shafir was there too. He tried to, and then they're like, all right, shut up, Ari. We're talking about our Rolexes.
the only guy without a collection.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go to my 12th track. Again, this is from Two Bears, One Cave. And again, responding to the haters, I think this is the wrong way to go about it if you wanted to stop.
If you just sit around and you know what? You only have what you have because of fans, so don't talk about us like that. Yeah, but you're still a loser if you're thinking like that. And so you're maybe, I'm lucky to have you as a loser fan, but you don't have to be that way.
Wow.
Background laugh track.
Just
Holy
kind of
shit.
stunning.
Yeah.
They go nuts in the control room.
That sounds like he just despises those people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not just, oh, well, my fans aren't all as successful as I am, and therefore, they should work harder. No, it's like he finds them despicable. That's awful.
Yes, very, very much so. So he was on 2 years ago. He was on KFC on Barstool, and they were talking about cars and his car collection. And I found this clip. I think this is an example of why people on the subreddits for Your Mom's House and stuff go, all right, Tom, it's getting to be a little bit too much. You're being a little bit braggadocious.
Good for you.
Really?
I like that other guy.
Okay.
I like that guy asking the questions, though.
Yeah. So KFC there is going, man, we've been on Barstool 15 years, and I still need my paycheck to pay my bills every week.
Which
And Tom's going, oh, that's weird.
Which is not true.
Wow. I just would not tell a story like that. It's just, Tom Cruise never tells a story like that, does he?
No, correct. That's probably pretty smart. So
yeah.
I found this fascinating clip from Tom's old stand-up. He was the multimillionaire, and when he was relatable. And I think this is kind of telling. My track number 15 here, he's literally become the guy he's goofing on here.
That's pretty funny until we hear all this other stuff.
So that's how he really is. Yeah.
Right. He's trying to say that would be ridiculous to think that way or to be that way. And he's literally is acting that way now.
Yeah, now he's talking about taking private jets.
Jesus.
And who plays arenas and who plays, the other halls.
Yeah, there was a doc that he put out around the time of his latest Netflix special where it was supposed to be this behind the scenes, see what it's like to be on tour with Tom. And he's like showing off his car collection.
Oh my God.
And he does this bit where he has to give his mom money in Vegas and his sister. And he's like constantly handing cash out and stuff. He seems obsessed with it, which is weird because I found a clip from 7 years ago on Your Mom's House where they had a very different attitude towards people showing off their wealth and bragging about their wealth.
A very different studio too.
Yes,
Right. Much
yeah.
smaller and intimate. Yeah.
But all
like
he's
mine.
doing is like, to me, when you say my lifestyle is like over the top luxury and decadence, it's not really like, it's not. I don't know if that's something to say. Like, you're just saying I have a ton of money.
Yeah, it's just being a show off.
Yeah, it's showy.
You know, and can I tell you what really bothers me about people like this is like, okay, I get it. You're having fun every day. Every day
Yeah.
is a party.
Yeah.
And then he'll put a post of like, you haters can hate, but I'm loving my life. It's like, well, you're kind of baiting people because you're like, nanny, nanny, poo, poo, look how great my life is. And then when people shit on you for
Yeah.
being a douchebag, you're like, oh, don't be a hater.
Yeah, yeah.
You're baiting.
You always have the defense of you're just hating.
Right. Which,
kind
of
of-
course, we are if
yeah.
you're shitting on him, but you're baiting it because you're telling me.
Yeah.
You're, you know.
I mean, there's something really tacky about showing how much money you have.
It's totally
Now you're funny, Tom. Karl, what's Christina like?
I don't like Christina. I don't find her funny in any single way.
I don't either. That's my problem. I actually flipped it on because I saw all the views it has, and I understand, by the way, their views are going down, which made me feel better about myself and also about them.
They're still getting 500,000 views
I
each
know.
episode, though. It's
I
still
know.
a lot.
They were getting 1 million or more. Two Bears, One Cave is losing views too. But when I put it on, I was like, is she supposed to be funny? Because I didn't hear her even trying to be funny.
No, and I don't know. I think she used to be funny, and now she's also affected by this new life and all their fame that they have, because she seems to be going down that same route from some of the things that I've pulled, where it's talking about mental health and dealing with mental health issues and how tough life is. It's like, yeah, I agree. Life is difficult. But, you know, when you got $30 million in the bank, it's a little easier.
A lot easier, yeah.
It's a little easier. That's all.
But did she start as a comedian?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact,
I didn't even know that.
In fact, this is a perfect segue to my kicker here, because this just happened yesterday. Robert Kelly is doing a show with Tom Segura, the stand-up comic Robert Kelly.
I like him. Do you like him?
Yeah.
I think he's great. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fun.
You know, I'm not
a few times.
I'm not super familiar with Robert Kelly, but from the comments I'm reading about Bonfire listeners, it sounds like Robert Kelly's putting the Bonfire out. I mean, they don't seem to like him on the Bonfire. I don't know why.
Well, he replaced Dan Soder, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's tough. Dan
Definitely.
Soder's really funny.
Yeah.
So it's so funny because here they're having this conversation. Robert Kelly is telling Tom how relatable he is and how everyone says how great he is. This is just from yesterday. Listen to what Tom says.
Like everybody that does your show,
Yeah.
like they're great. They're awesome. It's so fun. They're so
that's
nonchalant. Yeah, and it's like I've never heard a bad thing about you.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think much has changed about how we really are from starting this thing forever ago. We were just like two open micers,
Yeah.
who met and just pursued this lunacy that we do.
Yeah.
And we got obviously like some super lucky breaks, and then you just try to keep doing what you do.
Wow. Oh man.
What a humble man.
Yeah.
Is there some weird caked makeup on Robert Kelly or something? Does he look overly made up? Something looked weird about him to me.
Yeah, let me go back.
Yeah, back it up. I mean,
Like everybody that
maybe it's just a super smooth dome. I don't know.
That is one of the smoothest heads I've ever seen, bald, especially when you got to Segura.
Yeah.
It could be a filter. I'll admit to this on StreamYard. There's a little filter on there to smooth out your face a little bit that I definitely
really?
take advantage of. Yeah.
Oh man, I need one of those.
Yes,
Carl,
it
you're
doesn't hurt.
changing. You're going big time.
Yeah, and they're going to talk about your 2 houses.
It's a button in StreamYard. Why wouldn't I press it?
Everyone I know is always talking about their second house. Jeez.
All right. I know. I've also lost touch. I just thought that was so funny to watch how Tom Segura has evolved over time, and then for just yesterday him to say like we're the same people we were open micers. I mean, we're just doing our thing.
Well done, man. Well done mixing all those clips because it really does illustrate how he just doesn't get it or doesn't see it or it's just out of touch.
He seems to me to be unequivocally the worst in terms of changing due to having large sums of money of all those guys in his group. And there's a lot of them who've gained tremendous success. And their podcast views are amazing.
By the way, I feel like he's also like using Ozempic or steroids or something because he's lost weight.
He's a workout fiend, Mark.
Is he now?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's now super buff. Yes, in the last few years. Yeah, that's
And
part of his
guys,
transformation.
I'll even say his message is not wrong when he talks about how, look, if you're jealous of my wealth, you got to change your thinking. Don't be jealous.
Sure.
Get it for yourself. Like the message is correct in a lot of ways, but the way that he's going about it is just the wrong way. It's turning everyone off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be coming from him to the people supporting him. That's just the wrong dynamic.
Yes.
But yeah, that was great, Carl. Excellent.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me on the show this week. Merry Christmas. I assume you'll be off next week.
Yes, absolutely. And then we'll be back after the first of the year. So let's get back together the first Tuesday of the year. And it's been a great 2023.
It definitely has. I've had a blast with you guys. If there are Drew and Mike listeners looking to fill the void next week, we'll have brand new episodes of Who Are These Podcasts.
I'm
listening. Not taking off.
Well, at least you didn't call them losers.
Jeez, what kind of asshole did you get to do a show with you during the holidays?
I believe my note to Brandon was, oh, you're not going on vacation this year. You're working for me now.
Oh, are you going on?
It wouldn't be a holiday vacation without Karl putting me to work.
That's great.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So that will be, you're coming on December 30th, right, Brandon?
I am.
I got Tab Burt on the show this weekend coming up, but the show will be out available to listen to on the 31st, which, of course, you'll be watching the Bills play the Patriots, everyone, on the 31st. Maybe turn the volume down and listen to our podcast.
That team is on fire.
Hey, they're rallying, aren't they?
They're starting to. That game against the Cowboys was very impressive. They're like, Josh, take the day off. We got this. You don't need to do anything.
That was the juice of my parlay that game. I was like, so yeah, full on Bills. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Lions looked fantastic too. When I was at Content House, we spent all day Saturday after the show just watching football. So
nice.
That was a blast.
All right, Karl. Great work, and we'll talk to you real soon, and we'll make sure and tweet out that December 30th appearance.
Sounds good. And tomorrow I'm doing a show with Trucker Andy and Lucy Tightbox. We've been doing this new series of shows on our midweek shows where we break down podcasts from a certain category of podcasts, and we actually compete, and the listeners go and vote on who found the worst podcast in that category. And we're doing mental health is the
excellent.
category this week coming up. So that'll be fun.
I can't wait to see what Andy comes up with. He finds some of the most bullshit podcasts. Unbelievable.
Yes, he does. He already sent me his clip, so he's all over it.
All right, thanks, Karl.
Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Merry
bud.
Christmas.
Have a great holiday.